On that last video I did, folks, where it seems to be that they have been training the U.S. Army, in particular the Officer Corps, to view Tea Party types as the enemy that's to be taken down in the future. Now, you may ask yourself, where would the U.S. Army get such crazy ideas like this, that they would actually view Tea Party types as targets? Where would they get that idea? Well, here's this news article from today. The link, of course, is going to be down below. Make sure you click on it and read it. This is Tuesday, August 21st, 2012. Well, lo and behold, it seems that there's a couple of organizations that have been embedded in the armed forces. In particular, according to this article anyway, the Army and the Marines. And the first organization, it seems to be the one we hear of a lot. I don't know if you heard of them before. They're called the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, if I had to take a guess, folks, I got a funny feeling with these goofy names that these radical left-wing groups give themselves. I would take a guess that they're neither Southern nor are they poor. If we could get a look at their membership list, the list of their financiers, so forth and so on, I would think that maybe we would find out that their members, their financiers, their sympathizers probably live in a place like New York, probably Manhattan, Los Angeles, Hollywood, West Hollywood, San Francisco, Chicago, places like that. I don't think they live down in Alabama, which is where they are allegedly based out of anyway. And the other organization that is in this news article here is called the Anti-Defamation League, which, once again, these names that they give themselves, it seems that the only thing that organization does, like this SPLC gang, is that they go around doing nothing but defaming, insulting, and harassing conservatives and libertarians. So anyway, if you wanted to know who it is that's been steering the U.S. Armed Forces in the direction of looking at Tea Party types as future bullseyes that have been taken out, here it is. And this is their words. This is not my words. This is not your words. This is their words. And what it says, I'm going to let you read the whole article. Most of the article is them giving examples in the past of white supremacist nut jobs who went off and committed acts of violence. Okay, got that. Nobody wants white supremacist nut jobs within the military, especially violent ones. No problem with that at all. We get it. But what they're trying to do is to create an aura, a feeling that the armed forces are bursting at the seams with white supremacist skinhead violent killers, that they're all over the place. You know, they're hiding under bushes, they're hiding under chairs, they're hiding in the shadows, they're everywhere. You know, this is what they're trying to indoctrinate into the armed forces of the United States. Now, what it says here is, no one knows how many white supremacists have served since then. A 2008 report commissioned by the Justice Department, real quick, 2008, that would be the Obama administration, and the Justice Department. Now, isn't that run by Mr. Fast and Furious, Eric Holder, Mr. I refuse to prosecute Black Panthers for intimidating people at voting stations? Eric Holder? Is that anyway, moving on. The 2008 report commissioned by Justice Department found half of all right-wing extremists in the United States have military experience, aka they're veterans. Moving on. Okay, under this section here, it's called the Tattoo Matrix. The Army showed Reuters a 1-hour presentation it says was designed to educate soldiers and Army leaders, that'll be the officers and generals, etc., about its extremism policy and how to respond. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. But what this is confirming, ladies and gentlemen, is just what we suspected. That these two radical left-wing organizations, okay, are quote-unquote training our military. Who are they to be training anybody? All they are is a collective of rich, radical leftists. But here they are. Here's confirmation that they are, in fact, embedded within our military now. And what this confirms is just like law enforcement, the armed forces are now a fusion center. Right there, coming from the horse's mouth itself, that they are confirming that they have turned the armed forces, in particular the Army and the Marines, into a fusion center. And that they're training them. Well, they're not training them, they're indoctrinating them. Let's move on. Oh, now here's... you guys will appreciate this. It says, quote, and they have this in quotes, "The standard hateful message has not been replaced, just packaged differently with issues like," you gotta appreciate, listen closely to this, like freedom of speech, anti-gun control themes, tax reform, and oppression. The presentation says. Okay? Folks, listen to what, this is an actual training course that they have in the U.S. Army right now as we're speaking. That they are training Army leaders, officers, generals, whatever it may be, that the long and the short of it here is that if you are for freedom of speech, that if you want your Second Amendment civil rights, that if you are against never-ending taxes, excessive taxes, and that you are against oppression, that you are a racist extremist. Right here, they say that they've been, quote, doing this from the 1970s, that they've been monitoring. Well, if they've been doing this from the 1970s, folks, that's not monitoring. That's stalking. They are stalking their victims. Folks, I don't know what to say. Okay. The link's going to be down below. You know, like I said, most of it is these two organizations rambling and rambling on about trying to justify their existence by trying to make it look as though this is a huge, widespread problem within the armed forces. Okay? In the article, even the Army commander says in his 26 years of serving, it's not. He's never seen stuff like that, you know, on a huge scale, if I'm reading it correctly. So anyway, folks, there you go. Links down below. Confirmation that the U.S. Army, U.S. Marines, Armed Forces, are fusion centers.